Warm weather is finally here, and with it, the opportunity to upgrade your lawn or yard with a new fence from All Around Fence Company. Conveniently located at 7896 National Pike, Uniontown, All Around Fence has been installing quality residential, commercial, and farm fencing for more than 45 years. Offering residential fencing including chain link, decorative aluminum, steel, and more, All Around Fence has a fence for you. All Around Fence is also your one-stop shop for Nutrena products and carries livestock, equine, and pet supplies too. So whether you need to upgrade an existing fence, add a new gate, or are looking to install an all-new fence, All Around Fence has the answers for you. Visit them Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. or give them a call at 724-439-0331. To learn more, visit allaroundfence.com.
For professional cleaning services, Clean & Shine in New Stanton is the place for you. They provide commercial and residential cleaning, porter services, carpet cleaning, stripping and waxing, construction cleanups, and car cleaning. For free estimates, call 724-691-0413, email info@cleanandshine14.org, or visit their website, cleanandshine14.org. We clean so you can shine.
Feeling lucky? Your next big jackpot is waiting for you. Visit the casino at Nemacolin in Farmington, PA for the ultimate casino experience featuring the hottest table games, daily promotions, big-time giveaways, and an exciting variety of premium slots. And after, celebrate your big win with a juicy burger at the Royale while you watch the big game. Hotel packages available. Visit CasinoNemacolin.com for more information. The Casino at Nemacolin. Game on! Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Bad hair day? Bad day at the office? Bad day behind the wheel? Hey, stuff happens, even to the best of us. At least your car insurance rate doesn't have to take a hit. Get Erie Rate Lock from Erie Insurance. Gives you a great rate that stays put until you change a car, driver, or your address. Plus, seriously good service. Now that's something to smile about.
Your Erie agent in Uniontown and Ross Traver Township is Sprowls Insurance Group, 724-437-9812, or go to sprowlsinsurance.com.
Erie Rate Lock does not guarantee continued insurance coverage and is not available in all
The
states.
views and opinions presented by the host, guests, or callers on this program do not necessarily represent the positions of WMBS Radio.
And again, welcome to Democratic Hour on WMBS. Our phone number. I'm totally confused because I'm looking up and one and only, we have the general manager. Brian, did you get mad at everybody? You fired TJ, Nick, and Bill? Or
No, I could never do that.
Oh, you're never going to do that?
No.
So that's
Those guys
kind
are
of
too good. I wish they were all here. They have people coming back from vacation, leaving for vacation, sick, and that's why you're stuck with me.
Well, we're never stuck with you. We're deeply honored to have the general manager. So if something goes wrong today, if we say something, he's going to cut us off. Our language, we're going to have to be on good behavior today.
A better general manager than the Pirates have right now.
That's for sure. And again, welcome to WMBS Democratic Hour, or it's 590 AM, 101.FM, or telephone number 724-438-4593. And Brian, I know we played a little music. If you have it, fine. If you don't, we'll just go right into the show.
Up on the roof.
Oh, that's all right. We're going to play that again.
Yeah. That's what you wanted, right?
No. That's all right. Keep on playing. We're going to get into it.
You told me you wanted Up on a Roof. I didn't know it wasn't now.
Well, that's right. We want Nick back now. I can see that. There is a reason. We're going to play it again. Richard, Doc, we wanted a little humor. With everything going on in Washington, D.C., Rich, go right into it, then we'll go into our dialogue.
Yeah, I mean, everything's going on with President Trump, with fighting with trying to get a deal with Ukraine and Russia, and Gaza, inflation, the Epstein scandal,
the wars,
tariffs. Oh, the tariffs! Yeah, you can't forget about the tariffs.
And this is the song we were going to play, Brian. So we're going to put it on now. That's what happens. You don't like what's going on, right?
Yeah, he takes a walk up on the east wing. On the
Up
roof.
on the roof.
Up on the roof. On the east
Now
wing.
he could look down and see all the National Guard, right? Because he didn't like.
I understand they may be putting a wave pool up there.
A wave
surf.
pool?
Oh, it's to surf with the big waves and
Oh.
they can surf.
So when you run
Oh,
away
I'd love to
from
see
the
that.
problems- So, Brian, we'll forgive you for that, but that's all right.
Yeah,
But
hey.
again, it's the Democratic Hour on WMBS. No, we have a lot of things to talk about. And, of course, like I indicated, our telephone number is 724-438-4593. And, guys, I say this, we got 88 days in a wake-up. So November 4th election will be here before you know it. And, of course, we have our countywide candidates. Matt Lancaster is running for treasurer. Jim Santelli is running for recorder of deeds. And, of course, we'll see Jimmy and Matt. There's a big weekend. Italian Festival is being kicked off tomorrow in Uniontown. So we'll see both our candidates, but they'll be working. Jim's head of the Italian Festival. And so, again, folks, it's a beautiful weekend. Come out, enjoy it. The bishop will be here to say Catholic Mass up there
Outdoor
at
Mass on Sunday.
Sunday? Okay.
Sunday. And, again, it's 88 days in a wake-up. Also, we have retentions, and this can be very important to retentions. When you see these candidates on the ballot, they won't have a D or an R behind them. They're like Doc said many times, they're proven candidates. They are elected. They're up for retention. And up for retention this year on the Supreme Court is Christine Donahue. Supreme Court, we have Kevin Dougherty. We have David Weck, Supreme Court. We have Alice Beck-Dubois for Superior Court, and we have Judge Michael H. Woljak for Commonwealth Court, and he was here in Connellsville. And the reason I say that, Fayette County Democratic Women had their meeting Wednesday evening, and Michael was there to give his presentation. And like we said, there's 3 Supreme Court justices, Superior Court, and Commonwealth Court. And it's just a yes or no, plain and simple. When you see that name on a ballot, and it'll be no D or an R behind them. And those courts are very important because cases go from Commonwealth to Superior. And we'll have one of the candidates on. They'll explain how cases go up to Supreme Court. And we know how court cases are today with this current administration. Supreme Court just gave him what? Do what you want to do, Donald.
And Doc, what's going on in Texas?
Yes.
I mean, the repercussions are going to happen in Pennsylvania, Michigan, California, Maryland. Who knows where else? And the courts are going to get involved.
And I want to go over a couple of. Go right ahead, Doc.
Judges, each and every one are proven. They've served this.
10 years
the term.
in the courts,
In
like
fact,
Doc
if
said.
you look at their ethnic backgrounds,
Right.
it looks like a Notre Dame first team.
I agree. And they are Notre Dame first team. Speaking of Fayette County Democratic Women, they had their meeting Wednesday. I want to thank them for helping us out to Fayette County Fair. 10 days. I'm proud of myself. I didn't gain any weight. We had one little incident. Overall, the people were
respectful,
very respectful. They wanted to know where they voted, and I said, if you have any questions, the Bureau of Elections has a booth down there. And again, if you have any questions about this election coming up, please call the Bureau of Elections at 724-430-1289. And speaking of the Fayette County Democratic Women, there have been a lot of demonstrations. They have one this Saturday down here at Five Corners. It's from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., and it's actually Save the Parks rally. And we know in the recent cuts there have been so many different layoffs in our national parks. It's actually, Doc, it's Smokey the Bear's birthday. And I'm going to test both of you. Growing up, and you heard many commercials of Smokey the Bear. Now, what was the thing you always said? Anyone want to take a wild guess?
Only you could prevent forest fires.
Oh, you must have been looking at my notes. That's what it is.
Actually, the PR firm for which I was employed before I got there, they're the ones that came up with Smokey the Bear.
Well, and like I said, and that's a couple of things I want to thank the Fayette County Democratic Women. And again, please come down. That's some of the things that are going on. Also, it was the anniversary of the Voting Rights Act, and we know where they were going with this, 60 years ago. And look, 60 years, what they're trying to erode people from voting now. The other one thing Rich brought up earlier, and Doc, I know you touched on it, about the tariffs. They're on, they're off. India had a deal, not deal. Now they're selling oil and gas to Russia. He's not too happy. But the other thing, it just recently came out, he has a candidate who's currently working for the Department of Justice, who they just came out. He was involved in the January 6th insurrection. He said and you have to look it up, folks. I'm not making this about killing the police. Now think about this. And of course, he wasn't on trial, but Trump pardoned him.
Yeah.
Now he's working for the Justice Part. Called the police Nazis and other things.
Yeah. And there's video of him.
Yes. Saying everything
going into the Capitol building.
Yes, and coming out and what he said when he was rioting against the police there on January 6th. Speaking of Department of Justice, like I said, anything goes today. How about this? Epstein case will not go away. That's why he's going up on the roof. But here's the thing: you think about this. With that case, the Department of Justice, they had two of the assistants, right, went down to talk to
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Right. And all of a sudden, she goes from top security to a country club, right?
Yeah.
And they asked him. He claims he didn't even know what it was all about.
Somebody had to give the exemption to allow that transfer.
Yeah, so that happened. So, again, that's just thing on a national level. And again, Rich, I know there's some, I think his behavior in the White House, somebody asked me the other day, I think he come out and said, F-bomb, am I mistaken?
Yeah, I have never, ever heard of a president using profanity in the Oval Office, and particularly on tape or on video. I can understand people get angry, and people get upset and they use profanity. I do it at times as well. But I've never heard it coming from a president sitting in the Oval Office.
And we have a show coming out after ours. John Marietta's the current recorder of deeds. He's running against our candidate, Jim Centelli. Did you ever hear any of them calling out the behavior of the President of the United States? Things we're talking about. Eliminating jobs. And we know what under the Doge, what did we say some of those jobs could have been cut back?
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
but not the magnitude that they did.
Yeah.
But again, whatever behavior comes out of him or his mouth, there is no repercussion here. They'll continue to support the guy.
Yeah, I mean, Doc, I think you would agree. It's the idea that the local MAGAs, we're not hearing word one about them criticizing, not coming out and saying that
with Epstein
and Maxwell.
Right.
I mean, President Trump had his number 2 guy in the Department of Justice go down and interview her. He was a former criminal attorney for her. I never knew a president had to have a criminal attorney.
Well, he had one.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there was a sweetheart deal years ago with Epstein in Florida.
Acosta.
Yes.
Yeah. And they won't interview him.
Folks, we're not making this up, and we're not criticizing all Republicans by no stretch. And people were totally upset. Anybody can be happy what's going on in Washington, D.C. The man has no morals, folks. We have an election coming, a very important election with the recorder of deeds, the treasurer. It's ironic. My understanding is they just decided, okay, take the afternoon off and close the treasurer's office.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been down there at times in the county building, and I'd walk by, and there's on the door, handwritten notices like, we're closed.
We expect our elected officials, both Democrat and Republican. It's 8 to 4:30.
Yeah,
be in the office.
And an hour for lunch. Don't begrudge that. I have no
by no
problem
stretch.
With that. Yeah.
And the other thing we didn't touch on, of course, again, with the budget here in the Commonwealth. Here it is. We're talking the second week in August, and they haven't approved the budget. There's money allocated for education. Rich, and you talked to a teacher, right?
Yeah. A friend of mine, she teaches, and I jokingly questioned her the other day. I said, hey, you're counting down the days we're going back to school. And she said, I wish. And it's like, what do you mean? And because the federal money that's been delayed going to the state and then back down to the local governments. She said, we don't know when we're going back. And it's not only her, it's like 50 others. It's just crazy. It's mind-blowing.
And again, go ahead, Doc.
Because I have a particular grudge against the big bad bill. Call it the big bad bomb, or like a firecracker display. Every day, experts will find something disastrous in that. They say, "What about education?" Well, we could do away with the entire department.
Yes.
The NPR, total cut it to zero. Fund it with zero, and we keep seeing those. But that's not the thing. The sleeper. The most cunning, tricky, sneakiest thing they have done in that bill. And think about this. It didn't say, here's the bill passed, and everything starts tomorrow or a week down the road. It's all staged out.
They kicked the can down the road, right?
So that the pain will not be felt.
Until after the midterms.
Democrats were counting on a tsunami wave of sweeping every Republican out of office that's in office now, and even they're thinking about it. No, it's all staged. The pain will not be felt. Whereas if it were to start up and at full impact, every single family that sits down to dinner, somebody in that extended family is going to show hurt and pain and suffering from some support mechanisms that they had. Is that not true?
It is true. I think it's probably going to come firsthand later this year with the tariffs, and the prices are going up. Right. People...
especially at Christmas time.
Yeah, back to school, Christmas shopping. It's like,
and we have to keep reminding people they do connect.
Yeah,
it's going to hit.
Like you said,
it's not in
dot the I's, cross the T's.
A river of money coming in. It's consumers that purchase things are all going to have to pay.
Yeah, to me, I wrote this down because
right,
I make notes before we come on the show all the time. The federal deficit is not due to poor people taking advantage of the federal government. The deficit is due because of the humongous tax breaks that are going to the rich. As it was pointed out, the lifestyles of the rich and shameless.
Yeah. Rich and the shameless. And again, Doc, you brought us some things. I just seen it. I didn't write this down, but I think he made a comment, the current President of the United States, about eliminating collective bargaining agreement for I forget what agencies. More or less, guys, and all you union guys out there voted for this guy. Think about it. You don't need collective bargaining agreement. You don't have a right to organize. The
only one they might have the sense to stay away from would be health care providers throughout the nation. They need that voice and all, and I don't think they'll attempt to intercept them. But it's where it wasn't Reagan who the air traffic controllers.
The air traffic controllers,
He not only had them fired, but blocked any future employment by anyone else in that industry. Their careers were shut down instantly.
And now ICE has lowered the age range from 21 to 18 for people to work for ICE because they can't find enough people. But Doc, I wanted
50,000 bonus.
Yeah,
and the payment of all educational bills
and a mask.
In particular, I wanted your thoughts on the Kennedy getting rid of mRNA vaccines.
Oh, I mean, the documentation stacks up in volume upon volume of the efficacy, knowing there's always going to be that percentage that won't respond and have a total protection that you would like to have, and others that will have some side effect.
Yeah.
But they do it by the numbers game.
But that to me is foolhardy. It's the vaccines that came out for COVID. How many people did that save? How many hospitalizations did that save?
Totally blocked out the threat of polio.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's mind-boggling, like you said, and we have the MAGA Republicans here, not all of them. Mm-hmm. We know the ones will come on after this show, and everything you bring up, just like you said with the medical right to organize, what's going on with tariffs and all the other shenanigans, they don't have a problem with it. And you were running for office here in the county, and I said this so many times, even out to fair. Well, John, take phone calls. You want to be so transparent in how you run your office, do a show between now and election. Do a show and take calls like we do.
I mean, it's not me. I'm not surprised. The local MAGAs, they made a big stink out of transgender guys participating in female sports. You know, I think they got a point. But you know what? I haven't heard yet any of them coming out and criticizing or saying like Trump and everybody else has to come out with the Epstein files. You know, so what are you going to do? You're going to support pedophiles?
And how about the victims? They want the truth out there now.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, he ran on this.
Yeah, he ran on it. He said, and Bondi has, said like she has the list on her desk.
Well, here it is. Put the list out.
There's
the other thing. He was going to stop the war on day one, right? And he's meeting with Putin. I'd love to hear that conversation, right?
Well, if they're not going to let Zelensky participate in those talks.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have Russia and the U.S. talking about what should happen to Ukraine without the Ukrainian
like you
president.
And I decide what we're going to decide for Zelensky.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the tariffs on, they're off, right? Now he's mad at India. Well, the other thing, too, I read where the majority of our phones, and there's one right there, and I don't have mine with me, it is made in India.
Yeah.
And somehow they were excluded from the tariffs.
Yeah.
So the big boys who make the phones for everybody.
Well, I like to see, because India develops a lot of the drugs that we use in the U.S. What's going to happen there?
And again, like Doc said, we're all going to find but here's the other thing. And again, we bring local politics. But just think about this. I don't like the numbers, Doc. You know what? I'm playing football, and it's not 100 yards for a touchdown. We'll make it 80 because I don't like the numbers, right?
Yeah.
So just go in Texas. Forget about the census. I need 5 more. Maybe we need 6 more. And I'll say this as a Democrat. If the Democrats roll over and all of a sudden, I don't blame them. If I'm the governor of Pennsylvania, Michigan, you want to play this little silly game? Well, guess what?
We can too.
We can too. Well, we may have a commission here, but guess what? Commission, we're done with the commission. You want to gerrymander the state, and it should be fair for both parties. And we know over the years it wasn't fair. We know what happened here in the Commonwealth. Well, okay, California, just like the governor, you want to play your little silly game of Texas? You may not have a representation, and this is what we become in this country.
But there's a especially bad part about it, because with the word coming down from the Republican command on down to the Texas, what they're doing is letting him call the game and make the rules, and that we fight the same. They're going to do it for the first time ever, going to fight back that war, then we'll gerrymander the way we want. One more second, there is a better way, and it's worked in 4 or 5 states, mostly in the West, and then Arizona, when they wanted to put in a committee of professionals to draw up the maps, went up to the Supreme Court and they said, fine. They opened the door. Any state can do that, where you have it as close as you could to 50-50. Yeah. The beauty of that is that whoever is the candidate, whatever party, have to work your tail off to get when the election may tip with 50 or 100 or 500 votes, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
And also the legislature, both parties would really have to pay attention, because it's not a given there, and they would have to listen to our needs.
I'm going to remind everybody, when this president is gone as a Democrat, I want to see the same people criticizing, we're crying. Guess what? Supreme Court said to the president, you do what you want to.
Yeah. I mean,
just like you said, I don't like the numbers. I'll fire the person. I don't like. We only have a 5-seat majority. We'll change the rules.
I mean, I'll admit, Democrats have gerrymandered as much as Republicans. Yes. I admit that.
Okay.
But you know what? You don't go out and change the rules midterm.
Forget about the census every 10 years.
Yeah, you get the opportunity every 10 years. Like, the Republicans can't win on their policy, so they change the rules.
And if I don't like the rules, I'm going to fire the person who makes the rules.
Yeah, like the BLS.
Right.
Or have a new census every year in every state, and we'd have billions. We wouldn't be able to pay for the census.
Well, now President Trump wants to, redo the census from the last time and eliminate all the illegal immigrants.
Like I said, nothing. And again, our telephone number is 724-438-4593. And Brian, I don't think we got a call, but we'll keep on talking. But again, Doc and Rich, like I said, we have, what did I say it was in a wake-up? 88 days. 88 days. So we get our candidates elected, Jim Centelli, Matt Lancaster. And again, if any of our candidates, I know wouldn't have a problem in sitting down if they want to have a little say a debate. We know one thing, nobody will have a town hall meeting. You can see how they're going, right? We have should play the song "See You in September" because that's when they're going back.
Coming back, yeah.
Just we don't like what's going on in Washington. We'll just shut it down a little earlier, and we'll see you in September.
Yeah, the Congress gets a extended break, while at the same time President Trump complains about too many federal holidays.
Okay, Brian, we have a caller on the line?
Yes.
Okay, we'll see what we got. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
That's Jay. I just wanted to call. And,
yes, Jay.
I've called 2 shows this week on this station and really haven't gotten a response. And so I'm going to call this one. I called yesterday. They had a show on yesterday, and I called the host, and he just gave me And it's concerning these tariffs. It's Toyota, which is the world's largest car manufacturer, is expecting, they stated yesterday, due to tariffs, they're expecting a 9.5 billion cuts to profit due to the tariffs. And I said, either 2 things are going to happen. They're going to jack up their prices, or they're going to lay off employees, or they're going to do a combination of both. And, I brought up the situation that, I said, I don't think a lot of people realize that Toyota has some big plants here in America that assembles these cars. And they're union jobs. They're with a pension, with a health care package. And in some of these states, you can't replace them if they end up having to lay off people. And I gave the example yesterday, very kindly. I said, in Buffalo, West Virginia, southern part of the state, they have a big engine and transmission plant Toyota built down there. Employs in the thousands of people. Last I checked, 2,400, making around 75,000 to 100,000 a year in the state of West Virginia. They're union jobs with a health care package,
pension,
and a pension. And I told the guy, I said, if they have to lay off people, you're not. And I said, I told him, I'm originally from West Virginia. I said, you're not going to find well-paying jobs like that in that area, which is going to force people to look for a new home and move out of the state, take away the tax revenue. You're going to take away B&O tax revenue. And I said, some of these tariffs, there is no common sense whatsoever on this.
Right.
And the only reply I got was he's going to send you out a check from all this revenue.
Yeah.
Well, Jay, you brought up a good point. Rich has today's Wall Street Journal, and on the front, what you exactly said, autos take a $12 billion hit from the trade wars. And it brings up what you just said, the tariffs on automakers from U.S., Japan, South Korea, and Europe. And just like you said, they're unionized. I know when the auto industry started, foreign auto industries, they kind of moved to the South because they had right-to-work states, and they didn't want to be unionized. And fortunately for my family, my 2 brothers retired, one from Fisher Body, the other one from Oldsmobile. And thank good Lord that they were unionized. They have a great pension and health care. And you bring up an excellent point. You're going to take a $12 billion hit. You know who's going to pay that? The consumers. They're not going to continue to do that.
I mean, I won't mention the name. There's a big Toyota dealership here in Uniontown. The owner is in Congress.
Yes, Congressman Kelly. I'll say it.
Well, is he going to eat the cost of the tariffs, or is he going to raise the prices?
We'll take $64,000 question, Jay. I'll say he's going to raise the prices, right?
Well, that's right. And I mean, there's just, when people say this, and they were Monday, I called in, they had made fun of the people protesting on Saturdays.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? They said, well, they don't know what they're protesting. So I called up. I said, I don't protest, but they said, nobody has a real problem. I said, well, I have a problem. I said, last year, Wall Street Journal, not CNN, MSNBC, Wall Street Journal reported that the 19 richest families in America generated $1 trillion for themselves. And I said, they received the highest tax break. And I said, at the same time, we cut 10,000 clinical psychologists that specialize in suicides in the Veterans Administration. And I said, that's where I have a real problem with. And you just get, I don't know. I said, I do have a problem when the richest families are getting a huge tax break, but we have to find a way to cut clinical psychologists that deal with suicides when 2.2 veterans a day are committing suicide. And I just, I've gotten a little bit more active having to call in because I just don't think some of these shows, and especially the next one that will follow, there's always a lot of accuracy and some deep understanding because I'm worried about these tariffs. I think it's going to hurt the American worker more than anybody.
Yeah, I say look out for the fall when, people are going out Christmas shopping and buying their Thanksgiving dinner.
Our listener, though, is right on target.
Absolutely.
When he says the misinformation, everyone up to this point, the experts concede the tariff is not. It's an add-on, last minute before you go through the cash register, and
the consumer
pays it. That's not the way it's written up. It sounds as if Toyota is going to eat the $3.3 million every year forever.
Well,
we know that's not true.
They may for a while.
Yes, until they readjust it where they're
just like Jay said. Yeah, you got a $12 billion hit, and they're going to continue to take it. There's no way they're going to take it.
No, not at all. So
Jay, the sad part about it.
And picking up on that misinformation it's written as if they're. Don't worry about it. It's a big whopping tariff, but don't worry about it because Toyota will take care of it. No, not really.
It's not only misinformation; it's disinformation.
Absolutely.
Jay, you bring up an excellent point. I was union rep. Went to apprenticeship program. Our union brothers and sisters, you can rest assured, regardless they're in West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, they voted for this. That's the sad part about it. They bit their nose off, spite their face, and that's plain and simple.
I don't live in West Virginia anymore. I'm from there, and I'm proud to be from there.
And you should be.
But I don't live there anymore. But I tell people back home, you got to think a little bit when you vote, and especially some of these Congress people they put in that just take the knee to Trump. And when, they had to take the knee to Trump just to get flood funds when they got hit the floods back in, the May, June time period. And, to me, that's something that shouldn't be political when natural disasters strike.
Absolutely. Take the politics out, help the people that need it.
And to me, this whole redistricting fight, it's, the politicians are deciding who's going to be in. They decide who's going to vote for them. It's not the other way around.
Their own districts.
Yes. Yeah.
Jay, when you call in, just like, again, we're going to have, John's going to be on after us. We'll talk everything, how good under this current administration's running for office still won't take phone calls.
Well, and I brought up one time, this has been a while, if let's say you had a public employee, a teacher were to come on your radio station, pay for the time during their contracted teaching hours, and they said, well, we had a teacher cover our class, and they came on with the teacher and sat there and went over progressive issues and had a lady next to her with a Obama hat on, let's say, and they were co-hosting the show. And how would MAGA react? They would react and say, well, she should be on the job because that's her hours, and I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But if your hours are to 4:30, which are posted online,
8 to
if you're going to
4:30.
if you're going to say drain the swamp, and I see your picture come up on Facebook at 4:05 or 4:10, that's not drain the swamp. You're collecting a salary and playing DJ or whatever at the same time. I'm against that. Don't say you're going to drain the swamp and you're not in the office when the office hours are posted till 4:30. So 3 days a week, popping in on. I mean, that's his business, and that's the people have to know that.
Well, like I said, we have 88 days in a wake-up, and our candidates will be out and about, and they'll be more glad to come on the show. And, Jay, you have anything else on your mind?
No, I thank you for your time, and thank you for the call.
And, again, that's Jay, one of our listeners and callers, and I'm glad he listens to the other shows and make comments.
And there's one thing that also struck me this week with this whole Epstein scandal. President Trump came out and accused Epstein of stealing.
Yeah, stealing
one of his employees. Okay. I checked it this week. You know how many Fox employees are now in the Trump administration?
I wouldn't even guess.
23.
23.
23. Now, is he stealing from Fox?
Oh, Fox propaganda, right?
I don't know. He's adamant, and he really wants this Nobel Peace Prize. He really, really wants it.
Well, after it goes with Putin, we'll see how this all works out.
Okay.
Well, he claimed he was man of the year, right? And that wasn't true either.
Yeah. But, he says he's never started a war. I disagree. He started a global economic war with the terrorists.
And look, and we could go back when he said there wasn't COVID. Remember that? It'll go away in a week.
Yeah. But playing a strong arm against our allies,
right?
Them and all. But look at the little dance of the sugar plum fairies he pulls off. He calls a meeting and there's the press and says a blanket all of Asia, all of these countries are going to go to 75, 95% tariffs. And then that's to rattle them and have them come in and bend the knee and make a deal and and he ends up with 10% or so on those.
Yeah, it's more than that.
And I made a deal. Yeah, but it makes it look good that he made a fantastic deal when he started out with these artificial numbers that were designed to really upset. Okay, and following closely on YouTube, I think you'll like this one. Following closely on there, Canada did not rush in and to bend the knee or say anything. So the Prime Minister is sitting tight, and while he is in his X number of days, sends a team. They go over and sit down quietly, but no publicity, and the team works out in Japan, South Korea, India, make these wonderful deals, and they said instead of the up and down, it's a tariffs on, it's tariffs off, these were solid 10-year contracts with a lock-in for an additional 5 years, and they're absolutely delighted with that. And Canada they'll become their best friends.
Doc, hold on for a second. We got another caller. Who are we speaking with?
You're talking to Matt Lancaster. How are you?
Hey, Matt, how are you? I just brought up your name here. We got Matt Lancaster. Matt's running for treasurer. Matt, go right ahead.
Well, I had to call in because I heard Jay's conversation, and it was nice to have him. The other day, I was the one that called in to talk about the protest.
Yes.
Bill and Kendall, and it was a good conversation. They kind of wanted to know what was going on, and they said to me, name one thing you're protesting without saying the word Trump. I said, okay, well, my wife's a teacher, cutting the Department of Education. I was like, also, people going to lose Medicaid, and the rural hospitals around here depend on Medicaid. Who knows if Uniontown will be around after the midterms, right?
Yeah.
So
they're saying 5
simple.
in Pennsylvania are at risk of closing.
And Tracy Wilson, when I saw her at the protest, the Democratic women president, she said that Highlands Hospital outsourced everybody that was not a medical person. They've already cut like all the secretaries and the medical filing assistants already and outsourced their jobs.
Hmm.
So you see it coming.
Yeah.
And just bought groceries today. Sure as heck is a lot more than it was 6 months ago.
You think the current president of the United States ever stopped in a grocery store?
Well,
Matt, you've been down. You've been to many of them here in Five Corners, and again, they're having one to the anniversary. But it's about our national parks. Like you said, they laid off X amount of people, and Veterans Administration, in OSHA and MSHA regulations, you name it. And that's why the people went down there, such as myself, a retired plumber and a pipe fitter. We got teachers, United Mine Workers, current people working for a living. Like you said, your wife said, how you eliminate the Department of Education and people don't have a problem with it when that money's not coming from federal government to the states and states back here, and we got where's our legislators? Where's Charity? Where's Ryan Warner? Where's Bud Cook? It's in the Senate. Where's Pat Stefano? Why don't they come on this air and explain what's going to happen?
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's like my friend who's a teacher. She doesn't know what she's going to start because the federal money, is not trickled down to Fayette County.
And I know this, Matt. You said this. You will be a full-time treasurer, not a part-time treasurer, a full-time. You'll be in there. That office will be open from 8 till 4:30. And that's some of the complaints we heard. People been going, offices closed. I can understand guys take a little early break and leave, but for arbitrarily be closed, and especially when you walk in or any distance, you're coming in to do what you need to do and find out it's not even open.
Yeah, from Ohio Power or wherever. I mean, even if you wanted a dog license, you couldn't get them.
Exactly.
Matt, I know you'll be at the Italian Festival. Matt, anybody needs to get a hold of you. You're running for treasurer. Where can they get a hold of you? Look up your Facebook. Where could they get involved in your campaign? Please give us the number and where they could get a hold of you.
Yeah, so obviously if you want to go ahead, you can look me up on Facebook, Matthew Lancaster, Fayette County Treasurer, and I also have Lancaster4treasurer@gmail.com if you want to email me, and I can get a hold of you from there.
There's some different Facebook pages out there, and I'm not going to get into all the details. Matt Lancaster came to us. We didn't go to Lancaster. You stepped up to the plate. Jim Santelli stepped to the plate, and you're running for office.
Yeah, and I actually came and talked to Tim Dye because I knew Tim Dye from church for years. My wife actually taught his kids in CCD. I came in 2020 to talk about running for the state rep. And then COVID happened, and everybody gets shut down. My wife and kids were home. I decided it wasn't the best time. And when this came up, I had the ability to start at the local level. I said, let's start here and then work our way into something more if needed.
Great.
So again, Matt, go ahead. Say that again if someone needs to get a hold of you and wants to get involved in the campaign to get you and Jimmy and the rest of our Democrats elected here throughout Fayette County.
Yeah, so obviously Matthew Lancaster for Fayette County Treasurer. You can search on Facebook, or Lancaster for the number 4 treasurer@gmail.com.
Matt, you have anything else? The air is yours.
I would just say, too, you were talking about, unions and so forth earlier. One of the things I wanted to say was you saw the VA, their, bargaining has been taken away from them, which is a huge issue. And then if you look into, everybody was real big on the overtime, having no taxes. If you're in a collective bargaining agreement, it does not apply to you. So the union workers are going to miss out on this, which seems unfair to me.
Absolutely. And, Doc, do you have any questions for Matt before we let Matt go?
No, I appreciate your...
Matt, I know we'll see you in the next 2 days. You'll be out and about, right? Up on the... And again...
Yep, I will be transporting people from the parking lot up to the festival itself, so you'll see me there at least, and doing some other things too.
And again, that's Matt Lancaster, our candidate running for county treasurer. He'll be our next treasurer here come November. And we got another caller line. Thank you, Matt. We appreciate the call.
Hey, guys. See ya.
Welcome to Democratic Hour. Who are we speaking with?
Hello?
Yes. Could you hear us?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were talking to me. My name's Bill.
Yes,
Good
Bill.
afternoon, gentlemen. Good to hear your voices again, and thank you for your service again there.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
Just a quick comment there. You're running out of time. But you know what? You talked to all these MAGA people, and you know what? You ask for answers, and you know why you're not getting them? Because they can't answer the questions you're asking. Where's all the money going? They don't know. It's not going where it's supposed to be going. It's going somewhere else. I'm not sure where, but I'm not going to say it's going in their pockets. I can't accuse them of stealing, but nobody knows where it's going. They're afraid to answer the questions. That's why you don't get no answers, and you don't see them around anymore. I haven't seen our state representative around for 3 years, and since he got when they redistricted his area, he got all of Greene County, and I don't see him around in Mon Valley here. He's around, but I don't see him. I mean,
we haven't seen him either.
No,
nobody's seen him.
It's sad that these people are getting all this money to do a job, and they can't do it. They can't answer questions. I would love to have a meeting with these people, especially like Werfenstahl, because what's he worth? He's worth a nickel.
Well, like you said, people call in and they refuse a town hall, and the ones who are having a town hall meeting, they can't handle the pressure anyway.
Yeah. And Bill,
exactly.
You bring out the point about where's the money. Okay, I have personally no problem with John, but on his Facebook, he has that Steeler. People get the bid on Steeler products or memorabilia. And
right.
July 4th was the deadline for $3,000, and if it didn't reach $3,000, it was going to be extended. Haven't heard word one on where that money is, or who's won, or what's going on with that money.
It's a sad situation. People want to know where their tax dollars are going, and they're simply not going to the right place. Because, like I said before, they can't answer the questions because they don't have answers for them questions.
Well,
or don't want to answer them.
I would say they don't want to answer. Bill, we're up against clock. Bill, we appreciate your call. We appreciate you listening.
Okay, gentlemen, you have a great weekend.
We appreciate it. Brian, we have about a minute and a half?
Yeah, just over a minute.
All right, guys, I want to thank Doc. I want to thank Rich.
Thank you.
And again, folks, beautiful weekend. Come out. If you're not Italian, you could be Italian for the day, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just like you're always Irish on
Irish
St. Paddy's Day.
One of these days, we're going to have Hunky Day. But till then, we'll celebrate again. Folks, come down. It's for good cause. And for us Catholics, it's a good time. The bishop is going to have a mass. And Brian, I know you kept the show going. A little mess up at the beginning of the show, but that was my fault.
You got to tell me the music you guys want.
I know.
And I don't know what your closing theme is here. He doesn't have it logged.
That's all right. What we're going to do, we're going to go right into the news.
That's fine.
You can count us down like 10, 9, 8 for.
You got 35 seconds.
35 seconds, Rich.
Okay.
Go ahead, Doc. We're going to count you down now.
For next year, as our election work goes well, instead of St. Patrick's Day, we'll have St. Patrick's Week.
Oh, we can do that.
We'll stretch
Brian,
it for a week.
Thank you, Brian, as usual.
For the life of Raleigh, huh?
And again, we want to thank Brian. It's an honor to have the general manager keep the Democratic hour straight. And again, we thank the callers, and we'll be back here next week on the Democratic hour. Thank you.
You're listening at WMBS Uniontown. Stay tuned. CBS News on the way next, followed by the local district and statewide news at 4:05.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. The Trump administration is seeking another huge settlement from a university, $1 billion, as Michael Toscano reports.
The settlement offer is focused on federal claims of anti-Semitism on the campus of UCLA, the University of California, Los Angeles. In return, the Trump administration would release $584 million in frozen federal grant funding. The proposal reportedly asks the university to pay $172 million into a fund for Jewish students and others allegedly affected by violations of the Civil Rights Act.
There is condemnation of Israel's decision to widen the war in Gaza. CBS's Deborah Patta in Jerusalem.
In Gaza, there was stunned disbelief and despair. Netanyahu's war expansion begins with seizing Gaza City, where hundreds of thousands of Palestinians have been ordered to evacuate.
The timing of the operation remains unclear. Mediators Egypt and Qatar, meanwhile, are working on a new framework for a ceasefire agreement.